The silverware glimmered under the soft restaurant lights, but all I could hear was the hum of my father's voice, sharp, deliberate, carrying over the laughter that had filled the table just moments ago. "To family," Richard said, raising his glass, "and to our pride and joy, Vanessa." The sound of clinking glasses followed like a rehearsed symphony. Vanessa smiled, poised as ever, her lipstick the exact shade of her confidence. I lifted my own glass half a second late. The pause hung there, noticeable enough for her to catch it. "Don't look so serious, Claire," she said, her tone sugary with just a hint of steel. "It's a celebration, not one of your financial audits." Across the table, my mother, Evelyn, laughed softly. She can't help herself. "Dear, numbers are her love language." They chuckled. I smiled, the polite kind that hides behind your teeth. "Numbers pay your store's bills. Remember." Vanessa tilted her head, still smiling. "Oh, come on. The store's doing fine. You worry too much." "Fine," I said. "You're sitting on overstock that's bleeding money every month." "If you," Evelyn waved a hand like swatting a fly. "Let's not bore everyone with business talk." "It's not boring when it's survival," I replied, the words slipping out faster than I intended. My father's fork clinked against his plate, sharp as a gavel. "Claire." I stopped. His voice always had that weight, the one that told you you'd gone too far just by speaking. Richard stood, straightening his jacket, smiling at the relatives watching us. To 36 years of love, family, and success. His eyes swept across the table until they met mine. And to the daughter who keeps our hearts full. I braced for the usual Vanessa's name, a toast to her latest title. Then he said it, clear, unhurried. Honestly, we wish she were our only child. For a moment, I thought I'd misheard him, but the silence proved otherwise. The laughter died. The waitstaff froze mid-step. My breath stuck somewhere between shock and the instinct to stay composed. Vanessa's smirk spread slowly, like a blade drawing across velvet. "Dad," she said softly, pretending embarrassment, but her eyes flicked toward me triumphant. Someone coughed. Someone else muttered my name. Evelyn sipped her wine, unbothered, her face composed into that perfect hostess mask. I set down my napkin. My hand didn't shake. "Enjoy your night," I said. No one spoke. My heels clicked against the hardwood as I walked out, each step too loud in the quiet. Outside, the Chicago air was cold enough to sting. I exhaled once, steadying the tremor in my chest. They'd made their wish, and for the first time in my life, I planned to give it to them. When I got home, the silence waited for me like it always did, steady, predictable, almost kind. I dropped my purse on the table, opened my laptop, and stared at the numbers glowing across the screen. Columns, formulas, balances, order. They'd never humiliated me. A message from my father blinked on my phone. "Richard, you overreacted. You made a scene. Me, you made the toast." He didn't reply. I pulled up the old spreadsheet labeled Transfers, Family Store, rows of payments, one every month, each marked $500, 3 years of them. I scrolled down, fingers tight on the mouse. It wasn't just money, it was weekends I hadn't taken, vacations I'd canceled, raises I'd turned down to make sure their business didn't collapse. I heard my sister's voice in memory, sharp and bright. "Claire, you're so lucky Dad trusts you with the boring stuff. I'd die doing spreadsheets." She had laughed. I hadn't. The first transfer flashed in my mind 3 years ago, when Dad called in that calm tone he used when he wanted something. "We're just short this month. Temporary. You'll get it back." He never did. Instead, he'd call again. "You're the responsible one. Sweetheart, you understand family obligations." And I did. Or I thought I did. One night, after I'd sent another payment, I called Mom. "Do you ever worry about the store?" I asked. Evelyn's voice was distant, distracted. Your father's handling it. Vanessa's helping with marketing now. It'll be fine. She doesn't even know the profit margins. Not everything is numbers. Claire. She brings energy. She brings bills. Don't be jealous of your sister. That ended the call. Now, staring at the spreadsheet, the pattern was plain. Every transfer built their illusion of success. Every zero another layer of invisibility for me. The phone buzzed again. Vanessa this time. Vanessa, Dad says you're upset. Don't ruin their anniversary over a joke. Me. It wasn't a joke. Vanessa. Then grow up. You've always been so sensitive. I closed the chat and looked back at the glowing numbers. $500 a month, 36 months, 18 nahin jola. All that time, I thought I was keeping the family afloat. I was just paying rent for a place I never truly belonged. I didn't sleep that night. The numbers on my spreadsheet blurred into pale ghosts of everything I'd given. At 2 a.m, I opened the family group chat, the one that had lived for years on birthdays and reminders about Vanessa's big news. The last message was a photo of the anniversary cake. Vanessa's caption read, "To 36 years of love. Some of us just shine brighter." I typed slowly, "I'm done helping with the store. No more money, no more advice. Good luck." My finger hovered over the screen. Then I pressed send. The message slid upward, final. Quiet. The typing bubbles appeared almost instantly. "Evelyn Claire, don't do this. Your father's stressed. He didn't mean it." Me, he said it clearly. "Richard, enough drama. You're acting childish." Me, childish is saying you wish I didn't exist. There was a pause. Then his last line. "Richard, we all say things we don't mean. You'll come around." I muted the chat. The screen dimmed, but the vibration didn't stop. Call after call. I stared at my reflection in the black glass tired eyes. Steady hands. Around 3. Another text came through, this time directly from Vanessa. "Vanessa, you're being ridiculous. You know they need you." Me. "They don't. They have you." Vanessa. "Oh, please." "You love being the martyr. Me not anymore." I turned the phone face down and let the silence swallow the room. For the first time, no one could reach me, not through guilt, not through duty, not through family. The next morning, sunlight hit the edge of my desk, warming the stacks of papers I hadn't touched in weeks. My phone buzzed again, 14 missed calls, 6 voicemails, 4 new emails. I didn't open any of them. Instead, I opened a new document and typed the first line of my resignation from their lives, not my job. By noon, my phone was still buzzing like it was trying to pull me back into their orbit. I ignored every call until one slipped through my boss, not my family. "Claire," she said. Her tone clipped. "There's a rumor going around that you're leaving the company or on some kind of medical break." My stomach tightened. "Who told you that someone from your family reached out through LinkedIn?" She said, "A Vanessa Whitmore. She said you were overwhelmed." I forced my voice steady. "I'm not overwhelmed. I'm fine." "Well, make sure people know that," she replied. "Clients get nervous when they hear drama." The call ended. I stared at the wall, pulse drumming in my ears. An email notification popped up immediately after from Vanessa. "Subject, stop ignoring us message. You're making a fool of yourself. Everyone thinks you've had a breakdown. Mom's crying. Dad's furious. Fix this." I called her. She answered on the first ring, all fake calm. "Finally," she said. "I was starting to think you'd gone off the rails. You told my boss I'm unstable. I told her you needed time. Which is true. You're acting irrational. You humiliated me in front of people who matter to my career. Claire, it's not always about your career. You hurt Mom and Dad. You embarrassed them. They embarrassed me for 36 years. She exhaled hard. You're still hung up on one stupid toast. One toast. 3 decades. And 18 hinjola. Her tone sharpened. Money again. You sound just like Dad when he's counting bills. Maybe you two are more alike than you think. I laughed. but it came out brittle. At least he gets respect for his accounting. Keep talking like that, and you'll regret it, she said. Already have. I hung up. 5 minutes later, my phone exploded with notifications Vanessa's Facebook post, public and poisonous. Some people can't handle success. Jealousy is a disease. There was a photo of us, cropped from an old family barbecue. Her arm around me, my smile stiff. The comments poured in fast. You two are so different. Stay strong. Vanessa, family can be toxic. I read them all once, then again, until the screen blurred. At work, my coworker Mara stopped by my desk. She noticed the tension before I said a word. You okay? She asked quietly. Family trouble. I said, the kind you can fix or the kind you finally stop fixing. I looked at her, realizing she was the first person to say it out loud. Maybe the second. She nodded. Then, don't answer the phone. That night, I didn't. Not when Mom called sobbing, not when Dad texted, you're hurting the family, not when Vanessa posted again. For once, I let the noise keep ringing until it ran out of battery. 3 weeks passed before my mother's name appeared on my screen again. Evelyn dinner, Friday, family only. Let's end this nonsense. I almost deleted it. Instead, I typed, fine. When I arrived, the restaurant was quieter than the last time. Smaller table. Same tension. Richard's jaw was set. Vanessa scrolled her phone like she was above it all. Claire, my mother greeted, kissing the air near my cheek. You look tired. Must be all that peace and quiet, I said, sitting down. Richard didn't look up from his menu. We're here to talk. Not trade insults, then talk, I said. He sighed. Your outburst has caused real problems. Suppliers are nervous. The staff thinks we're going under. You are. I said. You just haven't admitted it yet. Vanessa leaned forward. We're not here to fight. We just want you to start acting like part of the family again. I opened the folder I'd brought, the edges crisp and deliberate. This is what part of the family looks like. She frowned. What is that, 3 years of transfers? $500 a month? 18 Nungin Jola in total, plus unpaid consulting, tax corrections, vendor negotiations. Every late night I spent keeping your store from drowning. Richard's face darkened. You're keeping records of your generosity now. Someone had to, since no one else remembered it happened. Evelyn's voice turned sharp. Money isn't everything. Claire, you can't measure family in numbers. I tried measuring it in love. I said. It didn't balance. Vanessa gave a short laugh. You really came here with spreadsheets. I came here with proof. I turned the pages toward her. You said my work didn't matter. Without these numbers, your store would have closed 2 years ago. Richard's hand slammed the table. Enough, you don't talk to your mother that way. I'm not talking to her, I said, looking at Vanessa. I'm talking to the person who called my boss and told her I was unstable. Vanessa froze, caught between denial and pride. I was trying to protect your reputation. By destroying it first, Evelyn's voice shook. You're making a scene again. No, I said, standing. This time, I'm ending one. I left the folder on the table, the receipts, the emails, the entire paper trail of everything they'd taken for granted. Richard called after me, his voice low and brittle. Walk out again. Claire, and don't expect us to welcome you back. I paused just long enough to look at him. That's the first honest offer you've ever made. Then I walked out into the night, leaving their silence to settle like dust over my empty chair. 2 days after that dinner, I booked a one-way ticket to Florida. I didn't tell anyone, not Mara, not Eli, and definitely not my parents. I needed distance that didn't fit into miles. When I landed, the humidity hit me first, thick and honest. Grandpa George was waiting by his porch, leaning on the railing like he'd been expecting the storm to reach him eventually. He smiled faintly. You look like you've been holding your breath for years. Maybe I have, I said, inside. He poured 2 glasses of lemonade, the kind he'd made since I was little. We sat across from each other, and for a while, Neither of us spoke. The silence wasn't heavy. It was permission. "Finally," he said. "Your mother called. She said you're being dramatic again. She always says that when I stop obeying." His eyes narrowed. What happened this time? I told him everything: the toast, the years of payments, the folder, the look on Vanessa's face when the truth hit. My voice cracked only once. He didn't interrupt. When I finished, he leaned back. "They said that in front of people, in front of everyone." His jaw tightened. "That's not family. That's performance." I nodded. "I thought maybe if I worked hard enough, I could earn their love." "You can't earn love, Claire. You can only give it and stop when it's used against you." I looked down at my hands. I already stopped. He studied me for a moment, then stood, reaching for the old rotary phone on the counter. "It's time I stopped too. Stop what rewarding bad behavior." He dialed a number, asked for his lawyer, and said calmly, "I need to make changes to my will. Urgently." I stared at him. "Grandpa." He raised a hand. "I built my life on fairness. If your parents and sister can't understand that, they won't understand the consequences either." The lawyer arrived that afternoon. A man in a gray suit with quiet shoes. They talked while I listened from the couch. George's voice stayed steady as he dictated every word: his house, his land, his investments all going to me, with a portion to charity. When the lawyer left, George sat beside me. "You've earned this, Claire. Not for what you gave them, but for what you didn't let them take." I pressed my forehead to his shoulder, and for the first time in years, I breathed without counting the cost. I was back in Chicago for less than a day when the first call came from my father. "We need you at the store," Richard said, voice clipped. "Suppliers are holding orders." "I'm not your accountant," I said. "You are our daughter. I was your daughter when you made that toast." He breathed hard through his nose. "There's a misunderstanding with taxes. Just look at the letters. Send them to your bookkeeper. We don't have one. That explains the letters." He hung up. An hour later, my mother called. "Claire, the landlord wants a meeting." "About what back rent?" she whispered. "It's a clerical mix-up. Then the clerks will fix it." I said, "By afternoon." Vanessa posted another photo, a cheerful selfie in front of the store window with the caption, "New era coming." I texted her, "Take it down." I wrote, "You're misleading customers." She replied in seconds, "Relax. I'm handling morale. You're selling a lie. You always hated optimism." My email pinged an attachment from a cousin. Sarah screenshot of my transfers. The memo lines circled. She wrote, "I kept the receipts you sent me when I helped reconcile their PayPal. Do you want me to post these? Not yet?" I replied, "But save everything." That evening, my father tried again. An agent from the Revenue Service called. He said, "He wants someone who understands our numbers." "Give him your numbers," I said. "They're asking about underreported income and unpaid penalties. Then tell them the truth. We will repay when business picks up." "It won't," I said. "Not while you keep pretending Vanessa's ideas are revenue. She is cultivating brand loyalty." He snapped. "Loyalty doesn't pay interest." He slammed the line dead. 2 days later, my mother left a voice message through tears. "The bank says we're in default. Your father took out a second mortgage. He said it was temporary." I called her back. "When a year ago? He believed the summer sales would cover it." "Did Vanessa sign those projections?" "She presented them," Evelyn said carefully. "Your father trusted her." "Of course he did. Vanessa texted me that night. Investors loved my pitch. We're taking the store regional. Send me your unit economics." I wrote, "Ugh, you always want to kill momentum with math. Math kills delusion." I said. She went silent. The next morning, the supplier of their best-selling denim finally called me directly, a woman named Joyce I'd negotiated with for years. "Claire, I hate going around your parents," she said, "but we need payment on 3 outstanding invoices. I cannot ship more on promises. I don't handle their finances anymore." I said, "You always did," she replied softly. "I did until they pretended I didn't exist." Joyce exhaled. Then I'm freezing their account. You should, I said. And I'm sorry. By the end of the week, yellow envelopes arrived at the store. My father called from the back office, voice brittle. They're assessing penalties, he said, tens of thousands. What did the letter say in words, not feelings? He read it aloud, stumbling over the figures. The silence afterward stretched. You ignored my warnings for 3 years, I said. Now the warnings are wearing government letterhead. We raised you better than cruelty, he said. You raised me to pay your bills. That night? The cousins stopped whispering and started posting. Sarah uploaded the screenshot of my transfers with the caption Claire kept them open. Not a fairy tale marketing plan. Comments flipped in minutes. So it was Claire this whole time? That toast was vile. Vanessa owes her an apology. Vanessa tried to delete older posts, but people had archived them. Screenshots multiplied. Vanessa called, furious. You told Sarah to post that. I told her to keep records. I said, you ruined my investor meeting. They asked about audits. They should ask about audits. She lowered her voice. Take it down. I can't take down the truth. You think you're winning, she hissed. You'll be alone when this is over. I already was. The foreclosure notice came 2 weeks later. My mother spoke in a whisper so thin it barely carried. The bank set a date, she said. They're taking the house. I'm sorry. I said, you could make a call. I made one. I said, 3 weeks ago at dinner. Vanessa posted nothing that day. For the first time. Her feed went quiet. My grandfather's postcard arrived that evening. Forward dated from Florida. It's done. I'm proud of you. I set it beside my laptop as my phone lit with one more call. Richard again. They want the keys on Friday, he said. Your mother is packing. I can't stop it. You could have, I said. He swallowed. If we apologize, you already did. I said, when you called me by accident and asked for my help, he didn't speak. Somewhere behind him, I heard a drawer slide, the thud of a box shutting. Goodbye. Dad, I said, and I meant the word exactly as it sounded. I was reviewing a client report when the phone rang again. I almost ignored it, but the name on the screen stopped me. Evelyn Whitmore. I answered. Her breath came uneven, too close to the receiver. Claire, please. Your father's sick over this. He's not sick, I said. He's guilty. Her voice broke. We lost everything. The store, the house gone. Do you really want it to end like this? It already ended at that restaurant? You don't understand he made mistakes, but he's still your father. I gave him 3 years to act like one. There was a soft sob, muffled by pride. Your grandfather won't even return our calls. You turned him against us. I told him the truth. He decided what to do with it. Then undo it, she whispered. You can call him. You can fix this. I spent half my life fixing what you broke. I'm done. She went quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was smaller. You sound just like him. Cold. No, I said. I finally sound like me. The line crackled with silence. Somewhere behind her, I could hear Richard asking who she was talking to. She didn't answer. Tell him, I said, that the store failed because he chose pride over partnership. Tell him I stopped paying for both. Claire, you taught me love had terms. I said, I'm done signing them. I ended the call. The phone buzzed again, once, then stopped. The screen went black, and for the first time, the silence didn't sound empty, it sounded earned. A week passed before I realized I hadn't checked my voicemail once. The phone sat face down on my desk, buried under invoices and contracts that actually mattered. At work, my manager stopped by with that rare half-smile she saved for promotions. You closed the Carter account faster than anyone expected, she said. You're moving up. Claire, senior manager, effective next quarter. I nodded. Steady. Thank you. Take a break before you burn out again, she added. I'm not burning anymore. I said. That night, Mara met me for coffee. She studied me over the rim of her cup. You look different. Lighter. I cut about 18 nginjola of dead weight, I said. She laughed. You mean emotional or financial? Both? Mara leaned forward. You don't owe them forgiveness, you know. Sometimes distance is the kindest boundary. I know. I said. I just didn't expect quiet to feel like freedom. Before leaving, she slid a small postcard across the table. This came to your office, she said, handwritten. The card smelled faintly of salt and sun. Grandpa George's handwriting filled the back. It's done. The papers are signed. You did right. I'm proud of you. I ran my thumb over the ink. Mara watched me carefully. You okay better than okay? Later, Eli stopped by my apartment with takeout. He noticed the postcard on the counter. Family. Just the part that still feels like one. He set the food down, reached for my hand. You built something good. Claire. Not from revenge, from balance. I squeezed his hand back. Finally, balanced. He smiled. Then keep it that way. The city outside hummed, indifferent and alive. I let the phone buzz once, twice, then fade. Some calls no longer needed answering. A month later, I walked down the block where Whitmore & Co. used to stand. The glass was covered with brown paper, a faded sign taped to the door. For lease. Through a tear in the paper, I saw movement inside Vanessa. She was stacking empty boxes, her hair tied back, makeup gone. When she noticed me, she froze. For a long second, neither of us moved. She broke the silence first, here to gloat. No, I said, just passing by. She gave a dry laugh. Congratulations. Then, you got what you wanted. I wanted peace. Not this. Vanessa leaned on a box, her voice sharp but tired. Dad barely speaks. Mom cries every night. They think you destroyed us. They destroyed themselves, I said. Her jaw tightened. You really think you're innocent? No, just finished. For a moment. She looked younger, smaller. I thought if I made them proud, they'd love me more. Guess it doesn't work for either of us. It never did, I said. She nodded, eyes glassy. Grandpa cut us out completely, didn't he? He made his own choices, I said, like we all did. Vanessa glanced at the empty racks. They're coming to take the fixtures tomorrow. I stepped back from the window. Then you should get some rest. As I turned to leave, she said quietly, Claire, I didn't mean everything I said online. I didn't answer. The truth didn't need witnesses anymore. Outside, the morning light hit the street, clean and sharp. I walked toward it, the sound of my heels steady against the pavement. Behind me, the store stayed silent finally, perfectly balanced.